Hey friends, as I was going further through the Facebook records from the FOIA between Nick and his friend Allie, I found something that was interesting, but on a much lighter note than the things we have been checking. So I wanted to share it with y'all so we could have a little laugh at Jip's expense. Let me bring it up. Okay, on December 11th, 2014, Allie says, "Hey bro, what's up?" Nick says, "Just Gypsy pissing me off right away when I wake up. I swear she doesn't realize how much I think of things in the future with me and her." Allie says, "Oh, what did she do?" Nick says she freaked out thinking if I met some girl at work, it would change and I would fall in love with them. Unrealistic shit, sis. She knows damn well that I am the same kind of person she is when it comes to commitment, and she still did it. She knew damn well that once I am taken by someone, I am taken by that person. And if I did have any relations to a woman at work, it wouldn't be any more than business and maybe a friendship at the most. Otherwise, Gypsy freaks out about me having a job in the future like it could be a bad thing when it just isn't right because she knows better than to even think of such things, dear." So I got to point out real quick, he's saying this December 11th, 2014. He'd been talking and occasionally sexting with his other ex, Caitlin, for several months at that point. But yeah, it's also funny. We know Gypsy's always been very clingy to men. Whenever I saw this, she doesn't want him to have a job because she's afraid he'll cheat. But we've also seen videos from her talking about how they need money, they need an income. Dee Dee won't help them. And then she lets him know there's ways around it. She can pretend to be his disabled sister and she can steal things from Walmart and stuff. Was that more about her not wanting him to get a job than not knowing how things worked? What do y'all think, friends? Let me know in the comments. Nick says, "Sorry about that, Ellie. I'm thinking of her while talking to you. My mind slipped there for a second. But yeah, what I just said is the situation, sis." Allie says, "A lot of girls get like that. Gypsy is being mild to this other girl I know." Nick says, "I don't know if me being asleep while Gypsy was on is what triggered this or what it was, sis. All I know is that it was unreasonable, and she was talking about a commitment ceremony instead of a wedding because she thinks I wouldn't be able to move over to Missouri because of this job. She is right about me not being able to move, but she planned to move to Wisconsin sometime in the future, and if I have this job, it will help me and her set up the future we wanted for ourselves in Wisconsin anyways. So she would still be able to marry me. She would just have to do it in Wisconsin, sis." And I told her no matter what she thinks, we are getting married. I even said I don't care about the laws of marriage. To me, they are just made up because God's law of marriage is what matters, which means anyone who loves each other from any corner of the earth can get married, so long as they love each other is the way I see it, sis. I only believe in God's law of marriage, not this crap in the States, sis. Allie says, "My beliefs are weird. I don't like the government's thinking at all." Nick says, "I know, and the belief that the government can have a hand in marriage is a violation of the First Amendment, sis, since that is supposed to keep government and church separate from each other." Allie says, "Yeah, they should, but it will never happen, lol." Nick says, "Yeah, well, even if it never does happen, I'm going to stick with God's law of marriage. If they kill me, at least I died in vain. They will be punished for it in the afterlife for daring to put the government in the church, which I believe it even states in the Bible that it is prohibited from happening. But well, the people just seem to let it happen anyways." Allie says, "Yeah." Nick says, "And not only that, me and Gypsy a long time ago was looking for a preacher that would still marry us in the future, that wouldn't follow all the laws of the government. And we did find one in Wisconsin area. It's just that we have to just get it all together when it is time to get married. Now, since I think she forgot that I even had a preacher's website on bookmark." Allie says, "Ah." Nick says, "Yeah, I got a reminder of it. I just said sorry for yelling at her as my last message. I'll wait until she is on again before I mention the preacher again." Then it goes to the next day. Allie says, "Hey, bro." Nick says, "Hey, sis." Allie says, "I hope your night is going well." Nick says, "It's okay. I guess you could say just trying to stay busy pretty much." Allie says, "Ah." Nick says, "Yeah." Nick says, "Yeah, I guess the only extra good thing today is that Gypsy is getting along with my other part of me again." Allie says, "Yeah." So I just wanted to point that out because that tells us Allie knows about his alternates, about Victor or whoever he told her about. Because I've realized from putting the FOIA videos together, grouping them month by month, that they started talking about Victor and Demona and then even Shaniri on Nick's part way, way earlier than I thought in 2013. After that, they just kind of trade niceties for a while. And then on December 20th, 2014, Allie says, "Hey, Nick, what's up with you and Gypsy?" Nick says, "Just having a deep conversation." Allie says, "Oh, she thinks you're falling out of love with her. Would you mind getting on Skype or not right now?" Nick says, "Not right now, sis." Allie says, "Okay, are you falling out of love with her?" Nick says, "No, she has the wrong impression." Allie says, "Oh." And then Nick says, "Yep, her worrying is for no reason." Allie says, "Oh." Nick says, "I don't know how. I don't know how she could think, just from a deep chat that me are having, she would think that I would be falling out of love with her. All I am is having a serious talk with her is all I am doing." Allie says, "Oh, okay, smile." Nick says, "Well, it went from a deep conversation to, an argument, but she turned it into that though." Allie says, "Oh." And Nick says, "And if she was trying to freak me out, she did a good job." Allie says, "How was she trying to freak you out?" Nick says, "I don't know. This is becoming psychologically draining. All I know is that I wanted to have a deep discussion with her and it turned into an argument, which turned into freaking me out." Freaking in here to say, I found that wild that Nick used the term psychologically draining for Jip. And this is about halfway into their relationship, December 20th, 2014. They still haven't met in person yet. They've been talking online at this point for just over 2 years. Allie says, "Oh dear." Allie says, "If you need to talk, you know where to find me." So I found some of that really interesting, friends. It seems like some of that behavior continues to this day, of course, on both their parts. Nick's just from prison. Let me know what y'all think in the comments. We'll go out with a palate cleanser. Hope everyone's having a good day.